is what do you do? And I don't know if anybody else has ever had this experience, but I think what do you do is the most limiting, ridiculous question that we can ask, because when I'm in a good state, I'm like, well, what do I do? I catch a lot of big fish. I hunt. When I'm in a great state, I inspire kids. I motivate them. I help them do things that they never dreamed about. But when I'm in a bad state and someone asks me, well, what do you do? It's like, who the hell knows? I don't really know. And so I just think, or this one, you go to the grocery store and you see one of your students, and you know, you want to say hi to your student, and you walk up to them, and all of a sudden your student greets you with like, who let Mr. Jaden out of the zoo? Because they can't see anything further other than what you do. And so, I think it just protects us from talking about what truly matters to us. And so the best way that I've done this in activities and speaking engagements like this is to have people actually write out or talk about their 3-minute obituary. And so basically, as morbid as this sounds, it's exactly that. To think about on that day when all is done, what is someone that's going to care about you so much say about you, and what would you like that to be? And so that's the prompt. Some of you are like, this guy's nuts. But I'm going to give you my model of one that I would. And I know my wife will probably outlive me, and so here's what I'd hope she'd say. My husband was a loving father, husband, son, mentor, and friend. He spent his 100 years serving, loving, and inspiring. You don't think I'm going to make it? Lucas made building our relationship and the relationships with all of you present today his passion. During good and tough times, he moved forward with empathy and a smile. He loved fishing, hunting, coaching, laughing, but above all, he loved us here today. If people could say that, I'd be all right. But I'll tell you what, every single day I come up short on it. And so that's why I'm asking you to write this out. So you've got 3 minutes. If you don't have paper, just talk to somebody next to you. But literally, 3 minutes, no more. That's all we got. Okay, so ready and go. I've done this activity literally, and this sounds probably bad, but thousands and thousands of times with thousands of people. And that's including teachers that I respect the most, brand stinking new teachers. I've done this with coaches who have won national championships. I've done this with literally billionaires and people who don't have almost a dollar to their name. And it's interesting because with that incredibly diverse group, 2 things always come to the top. Okay? And those 2 things are, number 1, the personal characteristics that we're growing and developing in this journey that we're using. How are we using our work, the environments that we're around to hone the personal characteristics that we want so much is number 1, always. Number 2, and not really in any order, is the love and the relationships that we establish and have established along the way. And what just has amazed me with this, and some of you are like, yeah, I've done this 3 times with you now, Lucas. But what amazes me is, again, how similar we all are, coming from such very varying backgrounds. And the way I look at it, for me, for the longest time, it seemed like, especially in our United States society, is that you've got a ladder, and everything that you're doing, your certifications, the degrees that you're getting, the acclamations that you're earning, is like a ladder that you are just racing up. And we work, we grind, it's rewarded, and as it well should be. However, my biggest fear for me, and I don't know when this started, is that you race and race and race to the top of that ladder, and you get there only to look around and realize that, dang, I'm on top of the wrong building. And I think a guy by the name of Francis Chan said a quote that just rings true, and he said, the greatest fear that we should have is not failure, but of succeeding in things that do not matter whatsoever. And as I reflect on 3 years only of being an educator, I can remember back very easily, I finished in the top 10 of my class at Freedom, and when you get that recognition, you go to a lot of chicken dinners your senior year. And let me tell you, every single dinner that we had asked that question, what do you do? Okay, what do you do? And they never ask, what are you? And I proudly proclaimed when many of my business friends or whoever medical school people seemed to be proclaiming their jobs that would get them on the fast track to bonuses or whatever it was, I proudly proclaimed that I wanted to be a teacher because hearts and minds are what I was all about. However, what I really realized in 2 years into teaching is that when I talked to my business friends, I was as ragged, as run down, and almost as stale as what they were. And the only difference was one of my friends was on top of the John Hancock building getting drinks, and I was drinking cardboard wine. and I think that this realization really struck me, that unless we put what you just wrote down as a focus for what you're going to tackle, whether it's in school, whether it's coaching, it is fleeting. And I think just something that needs to be at the forefront of what we're doing.